everyone, I hope you are all doing good. I've not been on YouTube in a wee while doing these long format videos, and I've had a few new subscribers recently, so I thought I would introduce me and my horses just so you have a bit more context as to who I am. Sit down because this might be a long one. So I do have my notepad here because otherwise I will get lost. Those of you that don't know me, I'm Kelsey. I am under 30 and I live in Scotland. I have 2 horses. So the story starts with Tristan, really. He is a warm blood. He is now 25 years old. Unfortunately, we made the decision to retire Tristan. I think he was about 21 when we made the hard decision to retire him, which I was absolutely devastated at the time. I'd cared for Tristan for about coming on to 15 years. So I'd spent most of my life with him, to be honest. I'd grown up with him. I spent my teenage years with him, so it was really hard when we came to the decision to retire him. So I had a bit of a decision to make as to what I was going to do next. I'd always said after Tristan I would never get another horse. Yeah, and I wasn't really sure if it was something that I wanted to do again. So yeah, I spent a bit of time sort of not away from horses, because obviously I still had Tristan. I was still caring for him. I still had to go up and feed him, I know, and yeah, go and see him, take care of him, really. Obviously I wasn't going to sell him or, get rid of him just because he was retired. I was always going to care for him no matter what. So I was still at the yard, around horses, around all the liveries. So yeah, it was quite tough, and I was kind of lost for a few months, I would say. I wasn't really sure what I was going to do with myself. Obviously I still had social media and I was still very much into horses. I was still very much, following all my friends' journeys and things like that. And then one day I had seen an ad pop up, an advert on Facebook of a horse looking for a home. It was just basically a photo of Daisy trotting, and I thought, wow, I really like the look of that horse. For me, I am a sucker for a warm blood, especially a bay warm blood. So I had seen the advert on Facebook and thought, oh, I really like the look of her. Obviously I had never even considered the fact that she was a mare, and I'd always just had geldings before, so that was something that I was like, oh, not sure about. Anyways, I kept going back to her advert and I was like, wow, she is impressive to look at. She's just what I want. Anyways, I did a bit more looking into it and messaged Daisy's breeder. So she was advertised from the breeder. So I was contacting her directly. I found out a bit more information about her. She was 2 at the time, and yeah, hadn't done much at all. She was obviously halter trained and things like that. But yeah, I didn't know what I was going to do. I had a long hard think about it, and you know what, I just thought I'm just going to go and see her. The other thing was that she was quite local to me as well, which was a good thing, but also probably spurred me on even more to go and view her. She was about an hour's drive for me. So yeah, I made the decision to go and see her, and just absolutely fell in love with her. I fell in love with, all of the horses. So the lady that I actually got her from breeds warm bloods. So I didn't just fall in love with her, I fell in love with all of the other horses there. But I just knew that she was the one for me. I went once to meet her, and the lady took her in the school and let her have a trot around for me to see her moving. And then I went, so that was with my friend, I went to see her the first time, and then I went back with my mum the second time to sort of make a decision on what I wanted to do. The thing that I really liked about the breeder is that like she did not in any way have any pressure on me. I could just go up and see her and sort of make a decision from there. Obviously she was only 2, so that was a big thing to think about. I'd never actually dealt with any young horse before Daisy, so I didn't really know if I was capable of dealing with a young warm blood mare. And the other thing was she was only expected to make 15-1, 15-2, which was really hard for me because I couldn't picture how she was going to look. I'd never dealt with young horses before, so I couldn't really see what she was going to look like when she was a bit older. Tristan was actually 16, I would say he's 16-1, 16-2, so that was a big thing for me. I was a bit wary of, is she going to be too small for me? Am I going to look silly on this small horse? Obviously that's not small, but it's a lot smaller than what I'm used to. So a lot of thinking was done. Obviously I'd seen her mum, I'd seen her dad, because I was lucky enough that they both lived at the breeder's yard as well, so I met them both. Yeah, as I seen her mum, I kind of had an idea of what she was going to look like, and her mum was quite broad and built, which reassured me really. So yeah, I decided to go for her, but I decided that I would get her vetted first. The main reason I got her vetted was because my insurance company wouldn't cover, they would only cover, what would they not cover? I think she could only be covered up to a certain value, and I wanted to insure her for more than that, so that was the reason I needed to get her vetted. Even though I was totally expecting her to pass, like she was absolutely fine, but I just needed that vet to check her over, and she did pass. I only did a 2-stage vetting, I didn't bother with the 5-stage vetting, and then I made the preparations in place to get her home. So as I say, I was about an hour away from the breeder. I had a car, I had my trailer, I had everything in place from when I had Tristan really. I just needed to pick a weekend that I could take her home. So when I bought Daisy, it was November. In northern Scotland, the weather is not the best. And ideally I wanted to take her home on a relatively nice day, which are few and far between in November. So I kind of did it on that, but also did it on a weekend when I knew I was off work. I just had enough time to really spend as much time with her, dedicate as much time to her as possible. So we picked her up and took her home and got her into a bit of a routine. I made the decision to put her in stable overnight during winter, so that's what we did. She went out during the day and then came in the stable overnight. With working full time, this was like, I am so glad I did this now, looking back, because I was able to spend so much more time with her than I probably would have done had she been out 24/7. You know what it's like in winter, it literally gets dark just after 3 o'clock here. So after work, I would be able to go to the yard, spend that time with her in the stable, which I probably would not have been able to do had she been out 24/7. I would have been trying to find her in the field, trying to catch her, trying to catch a 2-year-old that you've just bought in the pitch black. Not really for me. So yeah, I was really glad I got to spend that time with her, and I'm so thankful that I did. During those winter months, we developed quite a bond. Like, she loved the attention, she loved being brushed, so I was able to build up a relationship with her you know, not just on the weekends. When I had the daylight, I was able to do it during the week as well. So yeah, we got through those first few months. I just sort of got her used to the routine, obviously spent a bit more time with her. The main problem we had was trying to pick up her feet. She had a big issue with trust, letting me pick up her feet, and obviously it was a new thing to her. I was new. She didn't know whether to trust me or not. So it was a long battle with that. But we got there. It just took some repetition and, you know, like massive fuss when she did well, when she actually gave me her feet. The front ones were a lot easier than the back ones. I was so pleased when I got over that with her. It just took time, and as I say, those winter months I was able to work through that with her. Yeah, and I'm so grateful for that time. So when the nights started getting a bit lighter and I had a bit more time with her, you know, during the week and stuff like that, we would go sort of on walks. We would build it up slowly. We'd walk around the yard. We'd go around to the school and just have a walk around the school. We managed to get over a few poles in the school, and we just did a lot of in-hand work. One thing I really say is that I watched a lot of Steve Young horsemanship, who's on YouTube. He helped me so much with Daisy. Not even just, you know, respect, but her actually building the trust with me as well. I was hugely grateful for his videos. There was points I was like, oh, what have I done? What have I actually done? But the way he sort of goes through it, it really helped me. A little bit more walking. We'd walk a bit further around the yard. We're quite lucky that we've got grass tracks around our yard. We'd introduced a bit of tack. We had put a bridle on her, gotten her used to a bit. I got boots on her to get out in the forest a little bit and walk down the roads. And yeah, just really building that relationship and that trust with her. Like I say, we'd introduced a bridle, introduced boots. From there, I think Daisy was about 3.5. We managed to get hold of a synthetic saddle, so I built up putting a saddle on, first just starting with a numna saddle, then we started, you know, walking around with the saddle on. I would just do the same thing that I was always doing in hand walks, but I'd introduce a little bit more at a time. So I'd pop the saddle on, and then once she was kind of used to the saddle, put stirrups on. I'd have the stirrups rolled up to start off with, and then I put them down. Just making sure she was happy with everything. So we did that. I should have mentioned as well that we had a saddle professionally fitted. I had her saddle fitted when she was 3. She hadn't been back yet, but I got the saddler out just to fit her with a saddle. So we managed to get an adjustable saddle, which will hopefully do Daisy for many years to come. Once she was backed, I actually was able to sit on her for the saddle fitter and actually show him what it rode like. And yeah, I love the saddle. I'm so happy with it, and that was a really important thing for me as well, that I had the saddle fitted professionally and I had the bit fitted professionally as well, just to make Daisy as comfortable as possible in the whole backing process. I just wanted to have it all set up so that she was ready. I then took her out to her first in-hand show. We did a little bit of trailer loading practice, and we were able to go to a little local show. I really enjoyed it. I don't really like showing. I'm not a showing gal, but yeah, it was really good, because it was just small enough. There was no pressure. She was getting to 3.5, so we were starting to do a bit more, start to long rein her, which was really good. Again, like, I would say probably the hand walking and the long rein was the best for our relationship. And I literally took her everywhere. Obviously, in the start, I took her in the school just to get her used, to make sure she was safe enough to long rein. She knew what she was doing. She wasn't going to get scared with the lines and things like that. And then we went round the fields, in the forest, down the roads. We did a lot of stuff in the long reins. I couldn't just jump straight to the long rein because I wanted to get her used to all of the tack and stuff first. So we did some long reining, and I think we did long reining for about 9 months, I want to say. So yeah, I'd done the long reining, and we had sort of built up to leaning over her. I'd leaned over her a couple of times. So I think she was about just over 4, I want to say 4 and maybe 2 months, 4 years and 2 months. And I managed to sit on her for the first time. One thing I was quite certain of when I bought Daisy is that I would probably send her away to be backed, or at least, you know, get professionals to do it in some capacity. I did not in a million years think it would be me that would be the first person to sit on her. And in that moment, I was just so proud of how far we'd come and the time I'd spent with the horse, and just the amount of trust I'd been able to develop with her. Like, I just could not believe it. Little old me, who had never ever dealt with young horses before, I just couldn't believe that this was my little horse, and I'd managed to, you know, go on this journey with her. I was so chuffed. I had help of friends, I had help of professionals to help me with her. They helped me through the whole backing process, and I was so grateful for them, because I would not have been able to do it on my own. So yeah, I sat on her, and then we sort of built it up from there. As I say, I'd never sat on a young horse before, so I could not believe like how wobbly she felt. Like, and that sounds so stupid even saying that, but it's obviously she's never carried anyone before. But even when I sat on her, she stood still, she was like trying to find her balance. So we literally took it day by day and step by step. Literally, I think the first time I sat on her, we only asked her to do a few steps forward, and then I jumped off and we left it at that. And then the second day, maybe a few more steps, and then just built it up from there, just so she got her strength. I wanted to also say as well that I was in no rush to back her. We took it very slowly, and probably a lot more slowly than other people do, but as I say, this was my horse and I just wanted to be led by her. So we built it up by steps, and then eventually a bit of lead rein. We would do a lap around the school and leave it at that for the day, build it up from there. Eventually from the lead rein we managed to go onto the lunge. So we managed to be lunged, and then eventually we went our own way and just built it up from there. We'd walk on our own, and then we'd do a bit of trot, and then eventually we did a bit of canter. We'd also sort of go out for walks with other people, eventually off the lead rein, and then we managed to get out with other horses, and she just took it all in her stride. She absolutely amazed me. Went out on a few hacks with horses, and yeah, I could not believe her. Obviously it was not all smooth sailing, and we did obviously have a bit of bumps in the road, but I do truly believe that because I had no pressure on her, I was not in any rush, I had no expectations of her, that we managed to get through it, and there was no stress. There was just me and her, and we were just going to work through it. At the moment, Daisy is 5. She turned 5 in May. So we have been just doing the same, really, going out on hacks. We've been trying to do our schooling, taking our schooling a bit more seriously, try to do a lot more frequent lessons, building up on our schooling flat work. Daisy does really struggle with that. One of the things that I get asked quite a lot is, why is she called Crazy Daisy? And that is because she spends her whole life going at 100 miles an hour with her head high up in the air. So one of the things that we really struggled with to begin with is going fast, and Daisy going, not running off with me, but just going too fast and not able to balance herself in the school and not holding herself correctly. So we've really been working on that at 5 years old. We've also been doing a little bit of jumping as well. We did our first jump back in December. And when I say jumping, I mean like a 40-meter crossbow. We've just been doing that at the moment. Really, again, shock, but just building it up slowly. I am in no rush to jump 1.20 m. Not that I'm gonna jump 1.20 m, but that is what we are doing at the moment, just building it up slowly, taking our time, and the same with the flat work as well. So yeah, where we're at the moment is we have a lesson today. I have a lesson with her today. Yeah, just having fun with her really. We have a dressage test, our first dressage test booked in a couple of weeks' time, which I am so nervous for. But again, it is just a super small, low-key place that we're going to do our test, and hopefully we will get round. That's all I'm worried about, just getting round and making it a good experience for Daisy. I think that's all I have to say on our story. I should of course bring it back to Tristan because he was where the story started. Tristan is 25 now. I don't know if I mentioned that at the start, and he is absolutely thriving. I'm just so pleased. Like, to give him a happy retirement is just all I wanted. You know, he is like been the best horse ever. He obviously had his quirks, like any horse does, but we just have such a good relationship, and I'm so glad that he is a happy retired man, and it just makes my heart happy. And I think that's it. So hopefully now that I've explained our story, you know me a bit better and you can follow on with our journey. I really am so thankful for all you guys' support. I've been mainly posting shorts on here, but I am hoping to post long format videos a bit more frequently. I say again, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you soon. Bye.